Hey everybody, this is going to be the tutorial that's going to show you how to make this double-sided chevron crochet baby blanket. So to make this afghan, you need two colors. I used worsted weight yarn, and I used 3 skeins of the pink and 3 skeins of the gray. Also, I used a 5mm hook or size H hook for the US. And to make this size, using those 3 skeins of each color, I didn't run out. I just stopped when it reached 32 inches in length, or 83 centimeters in length. And my width is 30 inches or 77 centimeters. But I will give you the multiples of this stitch so that you can make it any size you want. You can make it a full bedspread if you'd like. The gauge that I got was about 3 stitches per inch, or 2.5 centimeters. And the multiples of this stitch is 17 plus 3. And also you can see that you cut it every row, so you're going to have this fringe on the sides. And then the ends are the zigzag tips. But for the purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to be using thicker ply yarn just so my stitches show up easier for you to be able to see them. But for the afghan, I used worsted weight yarn. Okay, to begin, you want to do multiples of 17 plus 3. And for my size afghan, I chained 156, which is 153 plus 3. So just remember, when the multiples is 17, it means that you need to do in multiple 17, 17, 17, 17. And then once you've reached your desired width, then you do that plus 3. And then you're ready to start your row. So the multiples is 17 plus 3, and that's what that means. So go ahead, and if you're going to make the baby size, go ahead and chain 156. Okay, so I have my multiples of 17. I did 3 multiples of 17, and I'm only doing a sample for the tutorial. So I did my 3 sets of 17, and now I'm going to chain 3 because I'm at the width that I want. And that will be to start. Now for row 1, we're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook. Now you want to single crochet in the next 7 stitches as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And with that beginning single crochet, you should have 8 single crochets total. Then you want to single crochet 3. I'm sorry for the noise. Then you want to single crochet 3 in the very next chain. So 1, 2, 3. 3 single crochets all in the same stitch. Then you want to go to the very next stitch without skipping any, and you want to do a single crochet in the next 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And that's our first peak. Now we want to skip 2 stitches. This is going to create the down peak. So skip 2 stitches, and then the 3rd stitch over, put a single crochet. And as you saw in this before, we did 8 stitches here and 8 stitches here. So there'll be 8 stitches in between your peaks, your upward and your downward peak. So we skipped 2 stitches and put 1 single crochet, which means we need 7 more to make that total of 8 stitches before we do our next peak. So we have 1 single crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now that we have our 8 stitches, we're ready to do the next peak, which we did a lower peak here. So our next peak will be an upper peak. And to make an upper peak, you just put 3 single crochets worked in the same stitch. And then without skipping a stitch, go right into the next. And you're going to want to put 8 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So now that we have our 8 again, we last did an upper peak. Now we're going to do a lower peak. So skip 2, and then the third one over, put a single crochet. And then again, you need a single crochet until you have 8 single crochets in a row. 2, 4, 6, 7, and 8. So double check. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, we did a lower peak last time, so we're going to do an upper peak, which is 3 single crochets in the same stitch. Then you should have 8 chains left. 2, 4, 6, 8. So you're going to put a single crochet in your last 8 chains. And just like that. And that will end row 1. Okay, so once you've got your next color, how I changed colors is that I just grab down. Remember, you want to leave a little extra there on the end to create your fringe. So try to make it about the same size. And then slip that color, new color through. You can go back and tie these two if you feel like it needs to be a little bit more secure later on. But that's how I change my colors. We're going to be using our back loop only, and this is what creates that look where you're going, you know, where you just see the one side bleeding through more than the other. It's because you're using the back loop only. So we're going to be going in multiples of 8 again, but since we do an increase here on our upper peaks, the beginning and end of the row will be a decrease. So your very first stitch and your very last stitch will be a decrease, which means using 2 stitches and putting it into one, making it into one. So there's 2 loops on every stitch, as you can see. You're going to be using the one further away from you. The one closer to you is called the front loop, and the back loop is the one behind that. It's the furthest one away. So I'm going to stick my hook in the first one, and I'm going to pull up a loop. Then I'm going to go into the next one as well, the back loop only, and pull up a loop. 3 loops on my hook, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through 3 to get that first decrease. Now, from now on, we're only going to be working in 1 stitch. So you're going to be back loop only and doing single crochets. That first decrease counts as a stitch, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Your 8th stitch should always be the first of the 3 increase stitches on your peak. Your 8th stitch should be that first single crochet. Then your next increase should be worked here in the middle of the 3 single crochet. So let's count 2, 4, 6, 8, which means my very next stitch is an increase for my peak. So I'm going to put 3 single crochets worked in the back loop only. From now on, it's always going to be back loop. So again, we're going in the back loop only, and we're still doing the multiples of 8 between our peaks. So you want to get 8 single crochets in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Once you do, we'll do just like we did the previous row. You'll always skip 2, and then third one over, the back loop only, do a single crochet. And then again, continue with your single crochets worked in the back loop only until you have 8 in a row. Two, 4, 6, 7, 8. And that's perfect because that is the first of my 3. So my new peak will be in the center. Single crochet there. So 3 to make my peak in the same stitch. Now back loop only for the next 8 stitches. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now for the lower peak again, skip these 2, third one over, put your single crochet. And again, you'll do 8 single crochets in a row, the last single crochet being in that first of your 3 on your peak, which is this one here, which means I should have 8. 2, 4, 6, 8, and then do your new peak of 3 single crochets worked in that middle single crochet. And then you want to, on the end, since this is the end here, remember I said we're going to be doing a decrease on the beginning and end, so you're going to single crochet in 7. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, leaving the last 2 open, and then do your decrease to give you that 8th stitch at the end. And then again, you're going to want to cut your yarn. Cut it about the length that you want your fringe to be. And as you can see, you have this clear line. I'm sure you can see better on your own piece. Again, I'm going to lay it out to about the same size as my fringe that I have here, and I'm going to slip stitch my new color in and chain 1 to secure, then turn, and it's just a repeat now of row 2, and the only difference is you're going to be changing colors every row. So again, first and last stitch will be a decrease, so in that back loop only, grab up a loop, next stitch back loop only, grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. Now that counts as 1, and remember we need 8 stitches in the row before our peak, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, which brings us up to the middle single crochet here. So put your 3 single crochets in that, and then single crochet in the next 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And again, to make the down peak, skip 2 stitches, single crochet in the next, again only using back loop only. So you'll do 8 single crochets in a row. Here's my first of 3 on my peak, so I'm going to count 2, 4, 6, 8. So my next one is my peak, so 3 single crochets in that upper peak, and then again down back loop only, you'll be single crocheting in the next 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Skip 2, then single crochet in the next 8. And I know that you've got this down, but I kind of just want to show you what it looks like after this row on camera, in case you're just watching me and you're not trying it yet. 1, 2, 3. So this is the end, the last little peak here, so you want to single crochet in the next 7. So that'd be 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, leaving 2 on the end. Back loop only. You want to grab to do a decrease like usual. Pull that up. Okay, so you can see on this side the pink shows up much more, and then the blue shows up more on the other side. That's just because you're using those back loop only. So when you add more pink, you're going to see the pink show up more and more and more on this side. Every row it gets more and more distinct. So that's it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please don't forget to like and share. Comment down below. It helps me out so much. I have a newsletter where I share every week my newest pattern that's coming out for me, or the newest roundup that's coming out for me. Also, I take the top 3 commented, liked, interacted with patterns that I share throughout the week, because I share not just my own patterns but many others, so it's a good pattern source. You can find that link down below on Facebook, but I know that people get busy and they can't see them all, so I put that best of the week in review is what I call it, and I'll take the top 3 and I'll share those with you. So there's lots to see in my newsletter. I hope you'll go sign up for it. You can find the link down below. And also I'm on Pinterest. I'm very active on Pinterest as well, so you can find that link down below there as well. So that's it, guys. Thank you so very much for watching. Bye.